That's good.
Thank you. Okay.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. My guest today is Chef Jess. She is the founder and creator of Fabalish, which has falafel that is baked and oil-free, and she's going to be using it in a fabulous fall falafel bowl recipe. But first, we're going to get to know her a little bit and about why she started this company. Please welcome Chef Jess. Nice to meet you.
Hi, AJ. Nice to meet you, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you. It's an honor.
Well, thank you. Well, but one of the questions I like to ask everyone is why are you interested in healthy eating? What got you interested?
Yeah, my journey really started from an early age. It was because of my health issues. So my parents were Polish immigrants. They came here, in the 70s, 80s, and we basically, my parents were working multiple jobs, and me and my brothers kind of just, our parents didn't realize at the time we were just, eating fast food, TV dinners, frozen dinners. And the weekends we would definitely cook as a family, great Polish foods and things like that. But it was just, during the week, we just kind of ate whatever without second guessing ourselves. And in my early 20s, I ended up having some pretty serious health issues that were kind of unclear where they were stemming from. A lot of gut issues, depression. I mean, my skin blew up, both arms, like infections. It was just kind of crazy. And I went to conventional doctors, and they just kind of prescribed me prescription drugs and steroids and antibiotics and other prescription drugs that weren't helping me at all. If anything, they actually made it a lot worse. So I innately, I knew there had to be more. I needed to figure something out. I kind of started thinking on my own and outside the box a little bit, and I knew I was too young to have issues like this. So I dove deeper. I actually, at the same time, was studying yoga, and yoga introduced me to Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is one of the oldest health systems to date, which actually looks at the body as a whole as opposed to individually. And so I dove deeper, and I learned that food is your medicine. The kitchen is your pharmacy. To me, when I heard the kitchen is your pharmacy, I was like, holy, I lit up. I was like, wow, how is that possible? And so I started learning about everything. And I just started cooking with more purpose and consciousness as opposed to before. And I started seeing all these changes in my body. I basically was able to heal myself. I said no to the prescriptions, and I just started working on myself. It was a very hard journey, but I'm really glad I did that, because that's how I came to be where I am now. So,
Well, that's fabulous, or should I say fabulous?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Let the kitchen be your pharmacy. Well, The thing is one of the Americans eat, I don't know, depending on who you listen to, 67%, 72% of their calories from processed food. And it's not food. So I always, whether you eat meat or not, nobody should be eating processed food. And if they're eating it, not very much.
Exactly. And that's what I was, that's what was shocking to me when I was going through this process, this health journey. I started paying attention to what I was buying. I was looking at labels, and I was just blown away at how much junk and processed food are in our what you go to the grocery store. You really have to read everything. There's unnecessary gluten, soy, sugar, where it's not even needed. And it really broke my heart seeing all this stuff, because I know a lot of people don't even pay attention. They just kind of grab and go. And, and I feel like some companies kind of slip in certain things that we don't need. And preservatives is another thing. We're not supposed to have these things, so we need to be eating as fresh as possible.
Or natural flavors, what are they really,
Exactly. That's, I remember working with a food scientist, and I out of curiosity, I asked her, I'm like, what's one thing that you would, what do you avoid as a food scientist? She goes, natural flavors. She goes, what is that? I'm like, Great question. I don't know what that is. No one knows what natural flavors is. You ask any consumer, and what is that? And that's what is mind-boggling, you know? So we really need to pay attention to and ask these questions, right? What is all this? So
The thing is it's so weird because I have to have this gentleman on who wrote a book about this. I've been trying for a long time because I try to always avoid them, but once in a while you'll have something like a tea, it'll say
yes,
natural flavors, or like the LaCroix soda, and or for example, like even the brand of vinegar I like, but whenever it's in it, it does something to my appetite, and I know it, and it's like, I like this better. It just fools with me, and
interesting.
that, and
Yeah.
they won't tell you what it is. It's always proprietary.
Yeah, no one will tell you what it is. Yeah, that's why, I mean, sometimes it's unavoidable, right? You do your best to try to avoid it, but sometimes it is hard. But yeah, it is a good question. Like, what is that? And I do try to find like sparkling sodas. If I have a choice, I'm going to try to find one that doesn't have that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a really great point.
It bothers me though that
Yeah,
they don't have to disclose it. People can eat any crap they want. It's a free country. It's a free world for most people. But why is it allowed that they can't disclose it? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Because if it was
I
something to
agree.
be proud of, they say, well, we don't want country companies to steal it. I think it's because they don't want us to know what's really in it.
If they don't want companies to steal it, they should put a patent on it, and that's the thing. I agree. I think it should be, transparent, especially what we're eating.
Yeah, and it's so much.
Agree.
I don't know if you ever read the book by Michael Moss, Salt, Sugar, and Fat: How the Food Giants Hooked Us, in his new book, Hooked. But they put more
No,
of
but
that.
I've heard about it, and yeah, it's awful.
They put more of that in the processed food than anybody cooking anything at home would do.
And it's addicting. It truly is. I remember, like I said, my health journey was not easy because it's almost coming off of all of that. That's the hardest part. You don't want to, because your body's almost going through withdrawals, right? The high sodium, the high sugar, and all of that. But it's something that we really need to do, as
Like coming off drugs in a way.
it really is. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So you started a company called Fabalish. Tell us a little bit about it. When, why, and
Yeah.
what's so unique about it?
Oh, it's a great story. So okay, Fabalish. Let me first off just give you a little rundown. So we basically do we we create healthy products made from chickpeas. And so we use chickpeas and its byproduct called aquafaba. And aquafaba is the water from boiling chickpeas. So we don't throw away the water from the chickpeas. We actually use that to make our sauces. And from the chickpeas, we make baked falafel. We have two flavors that one of them I'm going to introduce to you today. One of them is actually the spicy carrot and raisin. And we just recently made it oil-free, so which is really exciting, and just absolutely delicious. So, and all of my ingredients that are on our products, you can pronounce, what it is. And it's just simple, easy ingredients. That's already, the falafel's already pre-baked for you. You just have to heat them up. That's all it is. And they hit the top 8 allergens. So they're gluten-free, they're soy-free, they're nut-free, they're dairy-free, and just delicious. And it sounds like they're free of a lot, but they're really amazing. It's basically vegetables and chickpeas together. That's really what they are. So, and yeah, my journey of how it happened. So I had these health problems, right? And I started cooking for myself, which I never really did prior. And as I was cooking, I really started cooking in a way where I would meld the flavors of the comforts and the fast foods growing up into making them healthier. And so I would cook for myself, but then family and friends started tasting my foods and they loved it. And they couldn't believe that it was just a lot healthier for you. And I just got super passionate about it. And I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to go to culinary school, but not just any kind of culinary school. I wanted to go to the Natural Gourmet Institute. It's in New York City. And they're really the pioneers on, food for health. They're mainly vegan and vegetarian. It was like about 90%. That's what we were studying. But we really were taught a bit of Ayurveda, macrobiotics, how to cook for cancer patients, diabetes, allergens, things like that. And that's what I really wanted to focus and specialize in, because that's what I really felt is needed in the world. And so I thought I would just be a private chef after school. And after graduation, and I loved it. I worked for families, again, with certain dietary restrictions. Some were vegetarian, some were vegan, some were meat eaters. But under one household who, let's say, was vegan, had an egg allergy, couldn't have dairy, aquafaba was great to use and work with. And when I learned about aquafaba, my mind was blown. I thought this was the coolest thing. It was so magical. It's this yellow liquid. As soon as you whip it up, it turns into this white goodness. So I started really with the sauces. And my clients actually encouraged me to sell at farmers markets, and I did, just for fun. And so the response was amazing. And then the first week of the farmers market, I thought I would eat through all the chickpeas with my family, but I didn't. And I felt so guilty. I had to throw them away. So I was like, nope, next week I'm going to bake off some falafel and sample them with my sauces. They were just a sample. And so basically my falafel became such a hit. I had all these women loving on my falafel because they say they love falafel, but they don't want to eat it all the time because it's deep fried. And I was like, but these are just a sample. They're not for sale. But then I quickly pivoted and I started selling them, and they were just as good as with my sauces as far as sales. And they also paired really well together, but the falafels were just a hit. And I didn't realize what the demand was for great tasting. I just baked them the version I would have them, right? With a ton of veggies, baked, not fried, and just, I like them crunchy on the outside and moist on the inside. That's like my favorite way of eating it. So so that's kind of how Fabalish started in a nutshell. I started in a little farmer's market, and now we're, growing. It's been 3 years actually, if not a little bit longer. And we sell sauces and dips, very, very simple ingredients. And that's, for me, I want to create, I'm not too big on packaged goods in my own home, but if I do find a great packaged goods company that I truly believe in and has very simple ingredients, then why not make your life a little easier? And that's what I wanted Fabalish. I wanted to give people healthier options, easy to make, and just delicious that they could really enjoy and brighten up their kitchen. So
that's hilarious, though, that the product that you were just using for sampling has become either one of your most popular or most popular products.
Exactly. So a lot of things come from accidents or, passions and things like that.
So how do people buy this? Where do they buy it? Is it already made? Are they mixing something together to bake it themselves?
Yeah, exactly. I should have saved the package, but it literally just, you open up the box, right? And you pull it out. It's like a sleeve, and it looks like a chocolate box. Each little falafel is in its own little section. And basically they're already baked off for you. You just have to heat them up. So whether it's the oven, you can do an air fryer. You can pan sear them if you want, on a nonstick, super easy, or even a little toaster oven, super easy to make. Just need about a few minutes. We have instructions on the back, and the best place to buy them, you can go on our website. We have bundles you can purchase. You can create and mix and match however you want the bundles. And then we also have stores. We're mostly in the Northeast, so like New York, New Jersey, in Pennsylvania. We're in several like health food stores in this area. We are also in Erewhon, out in California, but we're definitely making our way through. We're going to be in the Midwest, coming beginning of 2022. I had to think about what year we're in for a second. But yes, we're going to be in the Midwest very soon at Fresh Time. Really exciting. We're growing so quickly, and it's because there's a demand for it. I think also the pandemic made a lot of people realize that they need to eat healthier. And plants are the way to go. Plants are great.
Are they shelf stable? Are they found in the frozen section?
Great question. These are frozen, so they will last you in the fridge for a while, a freezer, and for a long time, up to a year. These guys. Yeah, you just pop them in the freezer. You take out as many as you want, put them back in the freezer, and then you just heat as you go.
And so how are they shipped then to retain their?
Yeah, so basically, we ship them in. We have eco-friendly packaging that's all lined very well with eco-friendly ice packs as well, because we're very much as much on sustainability as possible. And basically, we let them slack out. They come, and if they're like a little bit defrosted, that's totally okay. You can pop them back in the freezer. And that's but they usually stay pretty well frozen in the boxes that we send in. So yeah. And then you'll find them in the freezer aisle. Sorry.
That's okay. I used to live in LA and I loved Erewhon. It was just one of my favorite stores.
Yeah, I personally haven't been there, but I've been hearing a lot about them and they've been really reaching out to us. I think they reached out to like 2 or 3 times to try to carry our products. So it's really exciting. Hopefully I'll be able to get out there.
There must be somebody in New Jersey, because they're saying which health food stores in New Jersey carry them.
Yeah, so there's Organica in Northvale. There's a few more. If you go on our store locator, actually, my partner's available. He'll give you some links to all the stores in the chat. I think that'll be the best way. He'll post that in the chat for you. So yeah.
That's great. And what are the flavors of the 2 falafel? There's 2 falafel flavors, right?
Yeah. So the recipe that we're going to make today is going to be, this is the spicy carrot and raisin. And it's really not that spicy. There is a little bit of a kick, but the raisin is actually really nice because it kind of has the sweetness and really levels out the spiciness. So it's really wonderful. And I'm not a big spicy person, but a little bit of a kick is always really nice. And it really brings a really great balance to your dish. And the other flavor, that's this guy right behind me. This is our zesty zucchini, not spicy at all. Has more of that traditional take on a falafel. We use cumin, coriander, fennel as far as spices in there. And zucchini is kind of like the main flavor for this one. So these are the 2. So
I love zucchini. That's perfect.
Yes. I love zucchini too.
And I know you're doing, one of the reasons I found out about you was because I had done an episode of Chef AJ Live with Justin Bellamy about the Vegan Investing Club. And he mentioned that you have opportunities for people to be investors. Can you explain that? Because I totally don't get it, even though I did watch the video.
No problem. It's kind of relatively new, but it's so exciting because we just opened up our doors. So we've been privately investing for a while, and now we just opened it up publicly. And it's just really fun because our customers can be involved. And it could be as little as $100 you can invest, but over $250 you get perks for any investment over $250. And you get equity in the company, and it's just a fun way to support brands, that new emerging brands that you really believe in, that you love and you want to see grow. And so, yeah, and we've been on a great trajectory. We're over 300,000. That's what it says on our WeFunder right now. I'm going to have my partner link the WeFunder campaign to the chat as well, so you guys could read about all the perks on there. It's just a fun way to really be a part of something and, have some equity, be a part of a company that you just, want to see make it big. So
nice. How come you didn't go on Shark Tank like everybody else seems to?
Good question. Maybe eventually soon we will, but we're just taking, one step at a time. I think that would be that's definitely in the pipeline for sure. So
that is so cool. Yeah, I love when people create things. I'm so always impressed because I had a product right out of culinary school almost 20 years ago that was accepted by Whole Foods. But man, just to get the there's just people don't realize it's not just about having a great recipe. There's so much that goes into it, from the designing of the package. It's like, I really admire people that get a product to market, because I went down that route and I got really close, but at the end of the day, man, it's hard. I
have to say it's extremely hard. It's been such a challenge. We were very excited, to do this, but it's been a lot. Like you just said, it's like from designing the packaging. This is actually our second design. we just rebranded the beginning of 2021. So we're really proud of this one because we used to have gusseted bags, but I really wanted to try to go as eco-friendly as we could. So that's why we went into the paper boxes, and it's just also prettier and just fun to see on shelves that way. But yeah, it takes a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. I'm wondering, I'm going to make a guess here because I recently had Dr. Robert Lustig on, and he wrote a book called Metabolical, which was like metabolism and diabolical smushed together. I'm wondering, is Fabalish is a smush of fabulous and delicious?
It is. You got it. It is a smush.
Okay. There was a game show when I was on it years ago called Smush where they did that. That's probably why I did so well on the show.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
somebody.
Faba,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Faba means bean in Latin. And we were playing around with the name for a while, trying to decide, what would be the best name. And I didn't want to limit it to, let's say, aquafaba or something with aquafaba. I wanted to keep the bean because the bean is really the kind of the star of the show here. And lish, obviously delish. And so on that note, I don't want to leave it off to just falafel and dips. There's so much more I want to do, whether it's, I've done aquafaba whipped cream, I've done mousses and ice creams and breads. So there's a lot more I want to do in the pipeline with it. But yeah, so that's why we kind of left it kind of open-ended Faba, but really the bean is the star of the show, and let that see where it takes.
Right, and because then you're using everything, I love that. Nothing goes to waste. I always wondered who not invented aquafaba, but who really was the person. There must have been some chef or somebody that started, doing that, whipping it up. And I wonder who that person is.
From what I remember, this happened, I think about 30 years ago. Someone was like whipped it up. Don't quote me on this. You have to double check, but I think it was several years ago. Someone accidentally did it and kind of discovered it. But obviously aqua means water and faba is bean. So just the water from the bean. But there's been tons of recipes the most recent years on aquafaba, but not too many products out there with it. So that's what kind of really distinguishes us as well. So, and just, we are the first baked and organic falafel on the market as well. So if you see any other falafel on the market, they typically have been deep fried prior. So so that's what also differentiates us out there.
Well, there seems to be a very nice person who's on the chat that said there might be some kind of discount offered to our viewers. And I didn't know that. I can put that in the show notes as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's my partner responding. Is that?
Well, it must be real because the name is Fabalish. I don't think anybody's pretending.
Yeah. So definitely use that discount when you can.
Yep. The Fabalish is saying 1 to 2 day delivery, 20% with Chef AJ. So thank you very, very much. I'll add that to the
Absolutely.
show notes. That's fantastic. Wow, we love that. So
yeah,
thank you. Right away they said yes. That's very nice. I did not know that. So I really do thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you I always wonder, like, when I've met people that develop products, or even people like that work in restaurants, or I had a friend that worked at C's Candy years ago. I'm like, do you eat the candy every day? Like, no, I get sick of it. Do you like your own product?
I do. I really do. I don't eat it as much because I do get sometimes, because they call me QC at work, quality control. So I'm always there checking in. I'm always tasting the product. So that's really like my job. We definitely always have a falafel box in our freezer. That's always there. That's for sure. But in the beginning, I think I ate it way more. But yeah, I still eat it all the time. I have to, because I need to make sure it's, up to par.
Right. So if you thought of I know you want to think of new products down the road, but have you thought of any new flavors just for the falafel, or maybe a different kind of bean? I mean, does falafel have to be chickpea? Is that like is that written in stone?
No, not at all. Actually, I mean, there is a traditional method to falafel, and I laughed that a Polish girl should not be making falafel, but I just took a healthier twist the way I would like it. But no, falafel does not need to be a chickpea. I know falafel has been done with fava beans, excuse me, with the V in the middle. And you can even make falafel with green peas. There's a lot of ways you can make falafel. But I have a lot of ideas in the pipeline. We actually, every once in a while, toss out a new flavor. And we're hopefully going to be having some nice new flavors for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. So you guys have to look out for that on our website coming soon.
Well, thanks. That's pretty much around the corner.
Yeah. So I can't give it away yet because it's a little bit, we're going to be releasing that very soon. So
That is
but yeah, I have a lot of flavors. We've done a broccoli cheddar before. We've done sweet potato cranberry falafel before. So there's a lot of great stuff we've done in the past. So being able to have our own website and send to customers, that was the way we were able to get this flavor out. We actually me and my chefs, we play around with flavors in the kitchen. And then we kind of have specials once in a while with samples of different flavors. And then we ask people for their feedback. And we especially know we're on a good, we have a great flavor if actually customers are reaching out to us, begging us to have it. So that's kind of how this guy came about, So this was kind of, we made a few flavors, we tossed it out as samples, and this one won. So
still doing the farmers markets?
Farmers markets, no, unfortunately, we're so busy. So no, we're not doing it, but we eventually would love to do like little local ones here. But no, we're just trying to really make our way nationally to as many health food stores as we can, just so we can get into as many homes so people have these, great products that are available to them. So.
Is Whole Foods a possibility? I don't really have Whole Foods near me anymore, but I know like that seems to be a store people want to get into.
It is. We're talking with buyers right now. So it is in the pipeline. Whole Foods does work a little bit differently now. Before it was a few years ago, it was different before Amazon came in, but we're going to start locally and then hopefully make our way regionally with, regionally and then make our way nationally to all the Whole Foods. So yeah, but Fresh Time is in the pipeline in the Midwest, Wegmans, there's a few other stores, maybe my partner can add in that people should probably look out for in the near future. I think 2022, we're going to be in a lot more.
So with the cranberry sweet potatoes, like blowing my mind, will that still have beans or will there ever be a legume-free option for the very small percentage of people that have to avoid legumes for whatever reason?
I know it's really hard. I really wish, I didn't know there was, too much of a legume allergy until when we were doing demos and sampling. It's very rare, but unfortunately we're probably going to stick with the bean just because the name Fabalish, right? Faba has bean in it. So unfortunately probably it won't be legume free, but we're the top 8 allergies free. Right. Can't do everything, unfortunately.
Well, maybe you could call it, I'm trying to think of a name for the one that does it, like Fabalish. I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. So
yeah, you never know. We could always branch off or something. That's a great idea. So I'll definitely keep that in mind and work on that. So
yeah, beans are really having their day because I had a small company called Wellbeing on, and they made all these delicious like cookie type dessert bars, and the number one ingredient was legumes. So
exactly. No, they're really starting to pop, they're going to blow. They're starting to blow up because there's so much you could do with it.
Oh, and it drives me crazy when people say, well, what about the lectins? Well, you cook them. That's what you do.
And it's the proper, you have to cook them. You have to soak them prior, and that's the problem is that a lot of people associate beans with, digestive, it's too hard to digest and things like that. It's because we don't properly cook them. So one, it's soaking them. So our process is very important, to us. So the chickpeas that we use are soaked prior, minimum of 8 hours, if not longer. Then that water is tossed out. You use fresh water. And then, we use kombu, which is a great way to help digest, digestive and adds minerals and it's pressure cooked. So it's properly cooked the way beans are supposed to, yep. Which really helps with all of that.
And you cook them from scratch, right?
You know what? We work now with a company that does it for us because it would just be too much. But the company that we work with, we really aligns with, they do it exactly the way we want it and the proper way they're supposed to. So yeah, we work with a company that
Right.
we partner with.
So like you're not cooking them in a pressure cooker, you're cooking them in a big pot.
I mean, big vats. They're cooking in big vats of pressure cooker. Yeah, it's like a big, massive pressure cooker, basically. That's what it is.
Nice. Well, do you want to make something with your product?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I have for you guys today, it's really the way I eat. I love to eat seasonally. And that's really how I, and through my journey, that was like a big thing. And eating seasonally has a lot more nutrients and it just tastes a lot better. So what I have for you guys today is a little fall falafel bowl. I actually have it on a plate. You can put on a plate or a bowl, whatever you prefer. So let me just get this going here. I'll show you guys. So what I like to do is, let me adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. So what I really like to do is start off with a bed of greens. I have arugula here, but you could use spinach, kale. It's really important to kind of change your greens as well and not kind of just stick to one green every week. Really try to be adventurous and try different greens because they all have different amounts of nutrients and vitamins and things like that. So I've got this nice little, we got arugula here. And then I cooked off some quinoa. You can use any grain really. You can use, brown rice if you want, basmati rice, whatever you prefer. I love quinoa because it has that added protein, right? And the best way to cook it is, this one I just put in a little pot. Basically you put the quinoa in and fill about, the way I cook it, at least I know there's a few methods, but the easiest way is just to put about 1/4 of water over the quinoa and just bring it to a boil and cover it and until the steam comes out and it just cooks really nicely. And I also like this time of year during the fall to make sure it's warm. You have as much warm foods as possible. It's a lot better for the digestion. And just, it's more grounding as well during this time of year. So I'm just plating the quinoa right here. So I'll just show you guys in just a second. So I've got the bed of greens, right? The quinoa. I roasted some vegetables, oil-free. So I just tossed in a little bit of salt. So you just use a parchment paper. That's the most important. So I roasted some Brussels sprouts. A little bit of a char on there would be really nice. And then this is a kombucha squash. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Kabocha. Thank you.
It's so delicious.
So good.
Kombucha is the drink.
That's right. I always mix those up. But this is the squash. It's a red one. There's sometimes a darker one, but I was able to find a red one, which is really, really nice. So basically I shredded I just kind of chopped up the Brussels sprouts and I wedged this. So I this is shredded Brussels sprouts right here that I'm just going to pour over or just sprinkle over. So it just gives a lot more flavor and just different kind of texture, right? So you have a little bit of raw, you have a bit of roasted, you have boiled. So it really gives a different, different flavors to your dish. Now I'm just plating the squash. Just plate this guy really quick. All right. And then I baked off our falafel. This one is our spicy carrot raisin falafel. It's nice and orangey as well. So it kind of fits into the theme, right? So what's nice about it, you don't have to all you have to do is just put them on a sheet tray and they just get nice and crispy. So in the oven, you do 425 for about 10-15 minutes. And they get nice and crispy on the outside and then nice and soft on the inside. And again, like I said, they're not too spicy, but does have a little bit of that kick, but the raisin in there really helps with some of those flavors. With some of the spiciness. So let me just show you, this is how I like to build it. This is really easy for your kids and family at home. So we've got the Brussels sprouts, we got the falafel, we got the squash. And then I like to make I like to put a sauce on it, right? So it's not too dry. So my go-to sauce that's oil-free. It's so simple. It's literally just tahini, water, a whole lemon. I do about 3/4 of tahini, 3/4 of a cup. Um, and I use this little food processor. Let me just give you guys the recipe. So it's tahini, lemon juice, water, and salt. Those four. That's all it is. And it turns white like this almost. When you start off, it might get really thick when you pour in some of the liquid. The tahini might look almost like a butter, but you just have to keep adding water to find that right consistency. And you just add a little bit more salt to your flavor. So let me just show you what it looks like. Let's open it up here. So it's just like this nice creamy, it doesn't even look like tahini. It's just like this like white creamy sauce that I absolutely love. And I'm just going to drizzle it over. And this little gadget, this little food processor is like everything. I absolutely love it.
It's so cute. What kind is it?
It's KitchenAid, but you can definitely find more. But I'm not sponsored by them. I just love it. I just love using it because it's just so much more convenient than taking out your entire big food processor. So I'm just going to dab some sauce over on our plate here.
You're using a purple spatula, my favorite color.
Yeah, I can tell by your shirt.
Yep.
That's awesome. So I'm just going to kind of dab the sauce over off to the side. It's just, or you can kind of, because my sauce is a little bit thicker. If you want it thinner, you just add a little bit more water, just finding that right consistency. So I have some on the side here. And then what I really love this time of year, and I'm a big fan, is pomegranate. I love pomegranate. And I try to avoid, let's say if you don't have time or you really don't want to deal with the peeling part, you can buy it in package, but I really encourage you guys to buy fresh whole pomegranate. It's, as you can see right here, here's a little trick to opening it. So with a knife, you're just going to lightly go around on one side, then on the other side. So it's in four quarters, but you don't go in deep. You're just going in just slightly into the skin. Take a big bowl and fill it with cold water and immerse the pomegranate in the water and start peeling it in the water. That way, you're not going to get squirts all over yourself. And all the pomegranate is actually going to fall to the bottom of the water, and the white bits that's inside is going to float to the top. So that's my little trick on that. It's so easy, and it's and then you have a lot of pomegranate for the rest of the week or a few days. So yeah, and it's in season right now. Pomegranate, is thriving at this time. So, and it has tons of vitamin C, which we need for this time of year. And so the pomegranate also gives a lot of color to your dish. You're going to see in just a second.
I mean, it looks so good what you're making.
Thank you. Oh, and falafel just flew off. But yeah, this is it. And then one more garnish that I absolutely love to use this time of year as well, which is loaded with a lot of zinc, is pumpkin seeds. So you could, we just finished Halloween, but there's still a lot of pumpkins that you could actually just toast and roast yourself. Or you can buy some, right? And pumpkin seeds are just so nutritious. And it's such a great way to just sprinkle on top, a lot of protein as well. And that's it. That's so simple, right? You have your greens, you have some nice cooked warm quinoa, a nice warm falafel, and some wedges and Brussels sprouts and tahini. It's delicious.
My God, it looks like a fabulous. That's all I can say.
There you go. And that's the best way to use Fabalish, is just a great topper. These falafels are great into wraps or on salads like this. It's such a great, add-on and great way to get more protein and fiber, which we definitely need. So.
Absolutely. That just is spectacular. I really think that the culinary school you went to, everybody I've had on the show that has gone to that school are just, maybe you were talented before, but I think they do a really good job of teaching you, don't they?
They really do. They really do. They did such a great job. I mean, just the passion from all the teachers and just their philosophy, and just learning about the different vegetables. And they really encouraged seasonal as well. It was just, I loved it. I wish I could be in school forever, but
I want to go there because I have a friend, Chef Darshana Thakur of Forks Over Knives, who was a fabulous chef even before she went. And then she came back and it was like, she blew me away when we would do Iron Chefs together. I couldn't beat her, you know?
that, that's awesome.
Gina, who I'm guessing is short, says, could you please hold the dish up a little bit higher and maybe closer?
You got it, Gina. Hold on. Let me angle this in. There we go. Hold on.
A little high.
There we go.
But you have to talk for us to see it.
Okay. Yeah. So we have the tahini. I dabbed it on because my sauce was a bit thicker, but if your sauce is thinner, you can definitely drizzle it over. So this is the shaved Brussels sprouts. Underneath, we've got the arugula. On top, we've got the quinoa, you can see. And then I topped it off with those wedges, the kombucha wedges, squash, and the falafel, tons of fiber. And then the pumpkin seeds and the pomegranate. And you've got sweet, savory, zesty, sour, spicy. You've got everything, which is really important to have a lot of different flavors, which is really important to have a great balanced dish.
Lissa's saying gorgeous dish. Many people are saying delish. Have you ever used, there's another sauce that I often see with falafel. It's not just tahini. I can never pronounce it because it's tzatziki.
Tzatziki, we make one. Yeah, we make one out of aquafaba. So yeah, tzatziki is very common used with falafel as well. So, and that's with cucumber, dill, mint, and yeah, it's absolutely delicious.
Well, you said you're of Polish origin. Have you ever thought about making a vegan kielbasa?
Yes, I would love to. That might take a little bit more work and trying to figure out, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to being in the kitchen. You know, I want to make sure it tastes on point as much as possible, but it's definitely a thought. It's for sure. I would love to.
I'm not sure if there is somebody watching. Google if there is a vegan kielbasa right now, but that would be very cool. Angela says,
would be really cool.
Angela wants to know where you live. She's coming over. I'm pretty sure New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yes, we're in New Jersey.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Which I'm jealous because you're in California, right?
California. Angela's in Florida though, so she's a little bit closer. But I think the plate's going to get eaten before you could actually probably arrive.
But what's funny is I actually started selling my I started Fabalish in Florida, actually, a farmer's market. So that's where I was a private chef for a while. So yeah. I miss the warm weather a lot.
Well, I'm always just so impressed when people get a product, but also when it's a healthy product. So I appreciate the fact that you're making, you know, a vegan product for one, and then to think about some of us that don't eat oil and making it oil free now. So guys, even if you look at the website, it says oil, but they're going to correct that. So
yeah, because it just recently, I was able to do it oil free. And so it just all recently happened. So our packaging, everything's in the middle of changing, but they are oil free.
And maybe you can teach other food manufacturers that they don't need it. You just don't need it.
They don't. Yeah. It just depends on that. Yeah. Especially in this, if you just do a little bit more work, you don't need it in that case. So yeah. It's really,
we know that there's vegan sausage out there, Dina, but we're looking specifically for kielbasa, which is a Polish sausage.
It's a Polish. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Different.
I don't think there is, maybe in Poland, like in smaller, like, manufacturers, but nothing I haven't seen that's, really out there yet. So yeah.
Nice. So how's the, I don't know what you want to call it, crowdfunding, or how's that going? Whatever you call it, fundraising. I don't know if that's the proper word.
It's going really, really well. We're making such great progress, and it's also just great to see the amount of support that our customers, want to be a part of. They want to see us grow. And they get stake in the company, which is really excited for them. So there's, pluses on both sides, which is great. But it's going in a really great direction. If you go on the WeFunder link, I can have my partner send that.
I put it in what's called the show notes if people just.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Perfect. If you go on there, there's a link to there's a little short video. Tells you a little bit more about our story. My partner is in there. My daughter's actually featured in there as well. She's a little, we call her the little chickpea.
You didn't name her Chickpea?
No, I should have, right? But yeah.
Why not? Or fava, a fava. Wow, how about fava?
Yes, I should have.
How old is she? Maybe it's not too late to change it and she won't notice.
Next one.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe. Yeah, no, she's 15 months old. So
she won't know. You could change it
yeah,
now.
I know.
She won't know. She probably
I guess I could.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's on the WeFunder. You can get a little bit more information about that. Really goes into depth. So you've got the video, and on the page, there's a lot more on there about all the details about our company and where we've been and where we want to go and things like that. So it's just exciting to see, because I'm realizing, and not just me, but a lot of people are realizing they want healthier alternatives. They want more plant-based, and they want it to not be so heavily engineered or processed. And that's really what we're all about. Is just going back to the basics and simple. And that's how we should be eating. So
absolutely. Amen to that. Here's a fun question from Victoria. And I'm assuming it's for you. What's your favorite kitchen tool?
Favorite kitchen tool.
Probably
so I think what I was just going to say, I think what I just showed you, I honestly can use it for anything. You can make falafel with this thing, even though you can buy my own, but it's just so easy to use. You can make really quick sauces, salsas, dips, really anything with this guy. I really love it. So it has a top to it, and it's so tiny. You don't have to whip out the big the bigger one. Sorry, loss of words. So no, this is perfect. What else is my favorite tool? Oh, I have one more. Hold on. Let me show you. This actually, I was introduced at school. I'm sure you have this, AJ. But it actually, if you look in closer, you can actually peel carrots into nice little strips. Sorry, it's a little dirty, or thin strips here. I love this thing because you could just quickly make a salad, and make really fun long strips, without, taking out anything bigger. I like small and convenient. That's, for me, it's just makes it a lot easier.
Nice. Do you have an Instant Pot by any chance, or a pressure cooker?
I don't. I kind of do everything on my own.
Wow.
I should, but I don't. I actually, I just prefer to put it on the pot. I don't know. I guess that's the way I was taught, but
that's okay. What about an air fryer though? Because you mentioned you can air fry your product.
You can. I don't have one. My brother has one. That's why we were using his for our falafel. I should get one too.
I think they're great.
I prefer, they are. Everyone keeps telling me, and I love my brother, so I'm definitely going to get one of those too. I just don't have the biggest kitchen, so I'm just trying to limit myself to things in my kitchen. But there's so many gadgets I want, but like a big KitchenAid mixer, that's a dream too.
I know. Wow. Well, anyway, you're just very, I just appreciate your passion for this. And I thank you for keeping health in mind. And you just gave a wonderful presentation that, I mean, just even the idea of all the things you put together. I mean, Brussels sprouts and kabocha squash and pomegranate seeds, really, really creative.
And it's all as much in season as possible. Brussels sprouts are, the squash, the seeds, the pomegranates, you want to keep as much as possible in season because it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wish you every success with your current products, your new products, and with your companies. And guys, if you want to be, I don't know why I have a block with that word. What do you call it? A donor?
An investor or a stakeholder. Okay. If you want to be a part of the team, basically, and have some investment in, in a company, this is a great way to do it, and to, support the brands that you love and want to see, grow as much as possible. So.
Yeah, that, you can still try the product with 20% off and see if you like it. It sounds absolutely delicious.
You order today, we can send you, your package will come this week. So
great. Well, it sounds absolutely fabalish. I like that name.
Thank you.
Almost sounds like it'd be like a famous singer in the Middle East. Fabalish.
Yeah, it could. Fabalish.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chef Jess. You're very talented.
Thank you, Chef AJ. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. do. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow when my guest is TJ Waterfall. That almost sounds like an actor's name. He is a registered sports nutritionist, and he's going to talk about how to optimize nutrition for performance. And you can certainly do that by eating the baked, oil-free falafel from Fabalish.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
everybody.
Chef Jess.